Alright everyone, welcome back here to Daft Survival. As you guys can see, Denver is experiencing a little bit of a blizzard right now, and I thought, what the hell, perfect timing to film a knife review. So today, what we are going to be discussing is this guy right here, the Cold Steel Rajah 3. This is a really awesome knife, and I'm going to let everyone know right now, this is my EDC knife. This is the knife that I carry around pretty much everywhere that allows you to carry a knife. I do plenty of court work, so I don't always get to carry one. This knife is excellent. To start off with, in terms of weight, this thing is about 4.4 ounces, and the blade length is 3.5 inches long. Now that seems fairly standard for an EDC knife, but this is a lot of knife. To start off with, the blade on this thing is pretty awesome. It's based on a kukri shape, which is a traditional kind of knife used by the Gurkha, which are kind of like British-sponsored mercenary force. You guys should all look up the kukris, but that's what the blade shape is. As you can see right here, it kind of likes to taper off. And what this knife is really good for is chopping sorts of business. So some other excellent things about this knife. First of all, this is cold steel, meaning that it's priced pretty aggressively. I got this sucker off of Amazon for 48 bucks with free shipping. I think their retail on it is significantly higher because that's what knife manufacturers do. But personally, I think this guy is a steal at 48 bucks. What I like about it most and what I use it for, like I said, it's an EDC knife. But with this interesting little blade shape, it's not really the most excellent thing for most conventional uses. It's a little bit strange cutting food and stuff with it, but I mean, it's sharp as hell, and that point right there is nasty. I've tried plenty of stabbing with this in various forms of plastic, cardboard and stuff, and it's excellent. But because, as I was saying, this is a cold steel knife, the lockup on this system is called the Triad Lock. So as you can kind of see, the lockup right here, all the weight on the knife goes onto that little pin inside there, and you can probably hear it pretty well. When this guy locks, it makes quite a bit of noise. This is a really, really strong lockup. I've been chopping away at it for quite some time, trying to make a little bit of firewood here in my backyard. I'm trying to test some winter fire making techniques, and this thing is a tough lock. I'd feel comfortable stabbing it into just about anything but concrete, and I would trust that, the blade would probably break before the lockup would. This is a really excellent knife for that purpose. What I like most about it is, I live in Colorado, so we have a blade length maximum limit of 3.5 inches. And this guy is 3.5 inches, but this is a pretty scary looking knife. If you want my opinion for it. If you pulled one of these in a defensive situation, I think this is about as scary as you can possibly manage with a 3.5 inch blade. In terms of tactical use and deployment, so what this guy has is a little thumb stud, if you will, right here. And I personally think that the way that it swings out and stuff is not the fastest thing in the world. For it. It doesn't, shoot open like a bunch of other knives that I've seen. But what is particularly awesome about it is Cold Steel kind of ripped off Emerson's wave opening feature. So this knife opens fast as hell because what happens is when you stick it in your pocket, tip up, kind of like this, and you pull it out, this stud right here is going to catch the inside of your pants and pull itself open. Now, I'll stick some video on the inside for that, but because of that, this is the fastest knife I have ever owned. I can have this from inside of my pocket to out in my hand and ready to deploy in less than a second. So if I had to pull a knife in a situation like that, this would probably be faster than just about anything out there. Certainly faster, I think, than an automatic knife even. Because though, you know, you could push a button and your knife just pops out, this sucker, because of that wave feature, is popping out while it's coming out of your pants. So it's even faster and you don't have to think about that. Which is, in my opinion, the best feature about that, besides, you know, maybe that awesome strong blade. Now, on to the topic of the knife steel for this guy. Cold Steel chose to make this knife with Japanese AUS 8A steel, which is a pretty mid-range steel. In my experience, I haven't had to worry about any chipping or anything like that, and I put this guy through some fairly tough use. I've been working on trying to do some batoning with this guy through some pretty nasty logs. Most recently, I've been trying to get through this guy a bit, and it's not the best knife in the world for that, for a couple of reasons. One, because it is a folding knife, but with that said, if you have to baton with a folding knife, I'd probably choose this one or something very similar to it, because I haven't, you know, really had, even after batoning this thing pretty damn hard through some tougher wood, I'm not having too many problems with wiggling or any of those sorts of things that you would typically associate. Not once has the lockup on this guy collapsed in on me, so I feel fairly safe in trusting it. This is a bead blast finish for the AUS 8A steel, and because of that, it doesn't rust super easily, but you need to make sure that your knife is dry, and you need to, or at least I oil it fairly regularly, usually between 1 and 2 times a week. I'll just take some of my gun cleaning oil and just put that right on top of it. Just a nice thin layer, and you know, it's something that you don't have to worry about afterwards. Does this knife hold an edge? Pretty decently. I like my knife so sharp that I can shave with it. And to get to that point, you know, I use one of those kitchen blocks, and just doing that, and it usually takes me between 20 and 30 strokes to achieve a razor sharp edge. The only issue with that is, you can tell by this crazy blade shape, it's not the easiest knife to sharpen unless you do it manually with that sort of thing. If you use a knife sharpener, one of those traditional ones that works on a straight edge, it's not going to work on here. But I think it builds character using an old school knife sharpener. So all in all, I love this knife. Would I rely on it solely when I'm out camping? Absolutely not. This thing is not going to split big logs or the sorts of things that you're going to need to build a fire. So what I would say, its best use is a tactical EDC sorts of knife, because it opens faster than just about anything. And watch later on in the video, I'll show you specifically how it's excellent for that. But this knife deploys fast as hell. This blade is excellent for cutting. If you needed to use it in a life or death sort of situation, I would trust that this could stop an attacker pretty damn quickly. It's great for cutting food. You know, it does pretty much anything that you would need a knife to use, that you would need a knife for. And the best part is that it's only 48 bucks. Alright, so it turns out that my camera's memory card is a lot smaller than I thought it was. So we are back inside here and out of the cold to finish up this knife review. We're going to talk a little bit about the knife's handle now. So the basic part is that this handle's texture is made out of Cold Steel's own proprietary formula, or whatever, and they call it Grivery. From what I gather, it's somewhat similar to the knife making material, or the handle material G10, as a whole bunch of other people use. It's hard as hell. It's got steel liners on the inside, so this is a very, very well supported knife. You're not going to have to worry about the handle wiggling or the frame collapsing, so it's great for that. I'm not sure how well you can see it here, but the texture of the handle, it's got some very, very small stippling, and in terms of actual grip texture, it's not rough, so your grip on the handle isn't going to come much from just the texture. If you want, you could probably put some grip tape on it or something like that. I've seen Nothing Fancy do that, and he says it works out well for him. But what's really great about the handle is just, as you can see, it's pretty well shaped to your hand. I've got, I guess, medium or maybe small to medium sized hands, and it fits my hand just about perfectly, I think. It's really good both if you want to do it forehand or if you feel, for some strange reason, to do a knife backhand. It'd work out well for you either way. In terms of gripping stuff that they have on the actual knife itself, it doesn't really have jimping per se, but because it's got that little screw right there, when you put your hand here on top of it when you're holding it, you can grip the damn thing pretty well. So really not too many complaints in the handle department, or really none at all. So now we're going to talk next about the clip itself. So this knife is meant for, as all good knives should be, tip-up carry, and it's got this clip right here. It's made out of some kind of metal that's coated. As you can see, mine has started to wear off a little bit, which I think just adds character to it. But what I don't like about this clip is that, especially when you first get it, it's tight as hell. And especially for, you know, potentially like a tactical defensive knife that you want to carry around, you don't want your lockup to be too tight because it'll go into your pants and you won't be able to pull it out. And it really is that tight. So, you know, either stick a pry bar underneath and try to loosen it up, or I don't know what the hell you want to do with it. As a plus though, as you can see, mine is a right side clip, but Cold Steel is awesome because they give you a whole spare backup clip and 3 more screws for it. So you could have this be a perfectly ambidextrous knife. The little bar here at the top obviously works ambidextrously as well, so lefties, it's great for you guys too. Alright, now for the last word, we're going to talk about using this as a tactical sort of tool. As I talked to you guys about earlier, the clip on this guy is super tight, so if you want to use it for a very quick deploying weapon or a defensive tool, there are some things that you need to know about it in terms of how to clip it and where to clip it. So like I said earlier, the knife deploys very quickly using that sort of wave feature by having this part here catch on this part of your pants. So you need to keep that in mind when you're deciding where to place your knife. If you want to put it in your pocket, here probably isn't the best choice, and pushing it down all the way because that clip is so tight is also probably not the best choice. What you want to do with it, or at least what I do with it, is I put it about to the top of where this piece rises here, so about halfway down the whole clip length, and as far back in your pocket as you can. That allows you to pull it out and still get a good grip on it. Now this knife is fast as hell, like I said earlier, so if you want to use it for a defensive sort of use, have it right there. And basically all you have to do is you want to pull almost down and back. So when I pull, it's almost as if I'm pulling down like this. So you've got some sort of attacker coming in, you just say, you know, your warning, that's my purse, I don't know you, and then you just pull out, done. It's already ready to go. Very quick weapon. I'll show that to you one more time. Put it down right there, about halfway through. That's my purse, I don't know you. Done. It's ready, it's that fast. This is an excellent defensive tool. So all in all, final thoughts on this knife. For $48, it's an absolute steal. The steel itself is great. It sharpens up very nicely. It's very comfortable to carry around. For a 3.5-inch knife, if you're in a state like mine, that this is the biggest you can carry, this is about as intimidating and about as useful, I'd say, as you can get with a 3.5-inch knife. It's not very well suited to super heavy-duty things where you might want an axe or a machete or a kukri or something like that, but for an EDC tactical sort of defensive knife, excellent. I'd buy another one if I lost this in a heartbeat, and I heartily recommend it to all of you guys too. So that's all I have to say about it for today. Thanks for watching. that's it. See you guys later.